Euphoria put us on the edge of reality and imagination all the time. There's a lot of moments where we can distinguish between facts and fantasies, even if it's just for some seconds. It makes us question if what we're seeing is actually happening. Those scenes occurs with great brilliancy throughout the entire show, but especially in episode 3 of season 2. Sam Levinson and his team seem to bring the characters' thoughts, feelings, and desires to life as if their minds invaded reality or we as an audience invaded their minds. What is purely mental or emotional becomes material. In today's video, I'm going to bring some examples and analyze their narrative function in the story. For those who don't know, Euphoria is basically an autobiography of Sam Levinson, along with some real-life experience from the main cast. So, how to tell a personal story in an audiovisual production without forgetting its subjectivity, but also portraying the team in a realistic way. Kinda confusing, I know, but you get it. The story of Sam/Bru revolves around their drug addiction, which in itself is a hallucinogenic act. If our guide to this world is not sober, most likely the world will not be sober either. First of all, the great power of the audiovisual is to make visible things they are not. For example, thoughts, emotions, sensations, ideas. And for narrative purpose, many things can be accepted by the viewer, including those things that are not visible in reality. Actually, in cinema, as spectators, we make a pact to believe that what we are seeing in the screen is true, because otherwise, what's the point of seeing any kind of film? We accept the laws that rule that universe so it doesn't feel like somebody's fooling us, so it doesn't feel like bullshit basically. It's the little lies we don't question, like people flying, superheroes, flashbacks being shown, big time ellipses. All of it is taken seriously in the universe of the movie, so we buy it. My second point to answer that question has to do a little with psychology. We have to recognize that it is almost impossible to separate ourselves from the perception we had in some situation. Meaning, we cannot see what happened without bringing our emotions and thoughts to the fact. It's basically impossible to be neutral and impersonal in our lived situations. So there is no way to tell what really happened because we're all prisoners of how we interpreted and how we lived our material experiences. When Sam brings to life the characters' illusions and conjectures of the past, future, or present, it's about as realistic as it gets. We're not deprived of anything. We are seeing the outside and the inside of the characters. There's no future. What can be more real than that? So when we're seeing those weird scenes and asking, is that real or not? Is that really happening? You start figuring that there's no point of making those questions because all of that is true. All of that is happening. Because if we define reality as just what we see or touch, we're living out a whole existential universe. Everything I said also contributes to the fact that storytelling something that is autobiographical implies relying on feelings and reflections of what happened. Because if Sam's telling his own story, he can disconnect himself from the facts. So fantasy and fact get mixed in the end.
You're in love with me and you know you fucking give me that look, Maddie, because I didn't fuck your boyfriend. You two were broken up for 3 weeks.
And he takes advantage of that uncertainty and or unreliability when he also makes us question the characters about whether what happened was a fact or just a fantasy. So guys, there were 2 more topics that could fit into this video, which was breaking the fourth wall and how Will explicitly talks to us but it would be just an anonymous video. So maybe I'll do another one later. If you would enjoy this kind of topic, please let me know, and I will dig as deep as I can because I'm really excited to do it. So if you want, please let me know. And I really hope that with my extended monologue here, you have begun to open your consciousness a bit more and maybe start seeing things a little differently than usual.